I am This Old Gamer, and I'm thrilled to have you along for the ride today, as we are all set for the Suburbs Episode 2. And we are cruising down the main boulevard here in the suburbs. A lot of progress made in Episode 1. We've got the grid down on the north side of the interstate. That left side there I kind of added off camera. So that part of the grid is more or less complete. But as I mentioned on Episode 1, today we're going to be putting down the utilities and getting everything ready for our citizens to actually inhabit the suburbs. So let's get started. This looks like a great area to be putting in a water pumping station. My water company, if you will. So that second portion of the grid, I'll talk to you a little bit about. But ultimately, I did not record that part. Well, I did record that part, but I did not make that an episode just because, well, I have been messing around with the LUTs and themes and things like that. And when I went to edit the video for it, the LUT looked really odd, and I wanted it to be more consistent with the first episode. So I decided, I'll just scrap it and not do it. In other news, you see this brown everywhere. I'm not really sure. There's some sort of glitch. I'm sure there's some sort of mod conflict going on where the pollution does not show up correctly. It says that everywhere is polluted. So now I have no idea what really is polluted and what's really not polluted. This area cannot be polluted because there's nothing here. But if you were to zoom out, everything is brown, the entire map. So if you know what that's about, if you know the conflict there, let me know in the comments below so I can get that fixed. Ultimately not really worried about it, since being a detailer playing this cheating version of City Skylines, nobody is at risk of dying of pollution necessarily, but it would be nice just to not have a brown map. I think we should have a water pipe interlude. Here we go. Alright, now we are upstream a little bit from where the water company is, and this is where we're going to put in our electrical company. It's all the same business per se. It's all the same utility company, but this is up the road just a tad. You see the lake there to the left. That is where our dam is. And we're going to throw in some electrical grid. We're going to put like some buildings over here and things. I'm not going to show you every little detail that I make, but you'll see a little summary of it here momentarily. And we're going to run a road up here in just a moment that will connect everything so the workers can get up here pretty easily. And it looks a little bit more realistic. We're running these power lines all the way across the interstate. Here's our road. Now, I'm going to use this industrial road. This industrial road I really like because it makes a really cool bridge. We're just making kind of like a service bridge, I guess you could say. This is not going to be, this is a private property. So this will not be a connection that our Sims will be able to use to get anywhere. And besides, it's not really going to take you anywhere other than to the power plant. Kind of flattening out the land here so this bridge will work out a little bit better. Just like so. We'll take some of these trees off. I had a rather interesting situation happen with my video editing program, Magix, which makes Movie Studio. Okay, so Movie Studio 17 has been my video editor of choice. Made a new Movie Studio 18. They always pop up with little, good prices and sales and stuff like that, as we're adding a little bit more to this grid here. So I was tempted to buy it. It was on sale, so I went for it. It's a completely different program. Completely different. Nothing is the same. Movie Studio, if you're unfamiliar, is based on Vegas Pro. Vegas Pro is rather expensive, especially for the best version of Vegas Pro. It's $300. which isn't isn't bad for a very comprehensive video editor, but I didn't want to pay that, so I got this Movie Studio 18, and it's nothing like Movie Studio 17. But tip of the hat to Magix, they are quick to react to my email, and I did get a refund to Movie Studio 18, and I'm back to Movie Studio 17. Maybe one day I'll use Vegas. I know there's a lot of powerful tools with Vegas that I wouldn't mind having, but it's a lot of money to shell out that it's not really necessary. This program does what I want it to do. So just buyers beware. And usually I make very, very, very researched purchases when it comes to this kind of stuff. But in this case, I did not. Kind of bought it on a whim. I was off work and was excited to see an update and just got it, and nothing like it used to be. But Magix, you still got my business because you were quick to react via email. I was nice to them, don't worry. Utility company is complete, and here's a quick interlude to show you the details. Very pleased on how this turned out. So now we've got our electrical grid, and it's running into the suburbs, as you can see. Also went through and added a few more power lines here or there, so we are all situated and ready to go. Now this is that overpass I was talking about in episode 1. So we're just going to kind of curve this around, and it's going to connect to the other side of our grid. And then we're going to go through and get this part kind of set up and ready to go as well. Nice clearance, that will work. So let me know in the comments what you think of this new program and new format. I know for some of my more tenured subscribers and viewers, this is a shorter version of what you're used to. And if you just want to hear me ramble and all sorts of randomness and things, just watch the Downtown series over again. I know there's plenty of stuff there that will keep you occupied in the world of This Old Gamer, but hopefully you're enjoying this series thus far, and it's only going to get better. We're getting into the fun stuff here very, very soon. I'm using lots of different roads. These are the big suburb roads, and I'm kind of mixing them up and doing another boulevard. I also have done some terraforming. Oh, I thought I got rid of that. Apparently it's still here. Doing a little terraforming and bringing this road all the way out to the ocean side. Now, one thing I decided to do, which I don't necessarily do right here, but I am going to get rid of the sand. Obviously where the road is, I'm going to get rid of the sand, but this is not going to necessarily be like a tourist destination. This is going to be kind of like a place people live that, you know, maybe it's prone to flooding and things like that. It's not the best place to live on the water. This little circle brick road I'm going to do something with. I don't know what yet. Maybe a really nice house or a school or something like that. It's going to be there. I'm kind of thinking ahead on some of this stuff of, hey, this would make sense for this would make sense for this, but for the most part I'm just getting the grid in place because my idea is all this is going to be houses. It's just going to be different types of houses. We're going to have different areas that, you know, basically based on more or less like income and wealth and things like that. Income and wealth is the same thing, yes, I know. But, you know, it'll make, just bear with me. It's going to make sense. Now here I am installing a creek, small stream. I'm using these network rivers. If you don't use network rivers, you really should. They are really awesome. They allow you to have some larger ditches and things throughout your city. What's great about them is you can kind of throw them down. As you can see, I just went right underneath that boulevard there without having to really do much. As long as you've got your road anarchy turned on, you can do that. But this allows you to add some additional detail that once you get your houses and everything down, it's going to really add to the overall look. And I like it too because I can make these real short roads that are bridges that are elevated. So every one of these roads that I'm going under, I'm going to convert over to an elevated bridge. You see these kind of things a lot. I was just kind of thinking of, hey, what are we missing? What's kind of funny looking about this, other than the road that I just made? What's kind of funny looking about this, and not having water flow through a island that is just full of water doesn't really make sense in a way. So yeah, that's why I decided to do this. I'm kind of bringing it down, sinking this creek in a little bit more. And then here we're going to put just kind of a large pond. And this will allow me to put a water source that won't just flood everywhere. It'll also kind of be a runoff from the stream that ends right here. We'll just add in another little creek. It's going to go right into that pond. Again, just converting my roads over to little bridges here or there. And here we go. We'll let this water flow. Coming from attached to the riverbed by the water company. Come on, water, come on, water, come on, water. Some parts are a little slower than others. You gotta have to work with it just a little bit. There we go. More like it. I'm just kind of circling back and adding some of these rock decals. These rocks are actually, they show up as buildings, which is nice because it allows you to stick them basically anywhere, but it adds a lot of detail. The one thing I will say about the network rivers, if I had to complain about anything with them, would be the fact that they have these lines, for lack of a better term, these lines that just kind of go alongside them. And if you don't put something over them, even with the water on top, they don't look that good detail wise. They do have like trees and stuff built in, which is nice, but the trees usually are submerged with water anyway, so they don't matter. Now we're throwing in a few larger rocks here at this riverbed junction. Now, I'm not adding a ton of trees to the sides of this creek over here. I am going to over here because this is a little bit more rural, I guess you could say, and there's not going to be room for houses right along the side of this road anyway, so no big deal. Gonna throw in some trees over here, but we'll finish the detailing around the creek when we build the houses that are going to be close to the creek. And that's probably where we're going to start building, will be on the south end of the interstate. I think that'll be a good place to start. Now, we have not gridded out the entire portion of the suburbs. We haven't gridded everything out, but we've gridded out enough to get started, and I'm just foaming at the mouth, insanity, excited about putting down some houses. And that's what we're going to start doing on episode 3. We're going to start getting some places for our Sims to live, and I think this is going to look absolutely beautiful. So here you can see those trees that are built into the riverbed itself. Some of them are submerged over here. Like I said, we'll come back and fix these when we start putting houses over this way. But overall, it really adds a little element of detail that I think is going to look fantastic once we start putting in the houses, which we will on episode 3. We're going to start building, and I'm really, really excited about doing so. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Suburbs. I'm This Old Gamer. I thank you for watching, and I hope you will join me next time for episode 3. We'll see you then. Have a good day. Bye-bye.